Welcome to another real-time trade. In this video, I'll discuss several ways to manage the trade to empower you to design a trade management model that suits your unique mental wiring. This is the stuff of the real game. Now let's join the trade in progress. Hey guys, Czar here. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good week. It is Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. just opened. You see that first candle right there? That's the first 1 minute candle of the New York session after we had a PPI month over month number that came out right here, spiked up, dropped down on all three. See that there? This is the three sisters for those who are new: NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. 1 minute chart with volume weighted average price, VWAP in the middle, 2.5 standard deviation bands. Be watching this thing play out now and see how we do here on the open. As most of you know, I typically do not trade in the first 10 minutes of the open. I let the dust settle, the chaos play out, and then start to look for optimal setups from there. I will occasionally trade in the even in the pre-market, but in the first 10 minutes of New York if the price action is compelling. But otherwise, I stay away from it. And that's just through personal experience based on my own model. I know there are many traders who have models that trade the opening candle, and that's awesome. Everybody needs to do what works for them. Bullish day here, guys, going in. We're up 1/3% on all three indices, essentially, give or take, for the future session, which began at 6 p.m. last night, New York time. And of course, now it's 9:30 the next day. 9:32 to be precise. But you can see that on the daily, we have broken yesterday's high. This is a cascading bullish candle, very bullish configuration given how high it is in yesterday's range. And yesterday was a very big amplitude candle. And so that is meaningful. We are range bound though on the 30-minute. The range that was created in combination of Asia and Europe here. So we'll be watching for that. This is the Dow. Let's go over to the S&P. Same thing on the daily. You see that there? Big day yesterday on Tuesday, and then a break above. See if this thing can maintain its bullish posture, though we are coming into a micro double top here. On the 1 minute, we've rejected from the bottom of a zone on the 30 minutes. See that down here? And breaking the prior candle's high. So this is, again, a bullish configuration for now. That can turn around very quickly. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is going the other way. You see that there? Computer's a little slow today. And that's after doing a restart this morning. So, might be time for an upgrade of processor. Who knows? Alright guys, I will be cutting out dead air, non-teaching moments, sideways grinding action, things of that nature to keep this video nice and tight. Just watching the open here together. Let's take one more look at the three sisters before I put you on pause. There we go. There's a bit of a divergence. Rallying Dow and NASDAQ kind of trying to sell off here a little bit. Certainly below the open. Below its open, whereas the Dow is rallying. And earnings are playing a big part in this, guys. Some various companies in these indices have reported before the market opened. And of course will after the market closes as well tonight. I'll put you on pause and we'll come back as this price action unfolds. All right, guys, we're back. Watching very closely now on the Dow. It is 10:13, about 43 minutes into the session here. Yeah. It's a tight stop. I'm only interested in this, of course, if we break above. If we do not, I would never have my stop that close on such a relatively feeble pullback here, but I like this configuration. It's one of my favorite kinds of setups, especially given where we are here on the zone print on the 30-minute chart. See that after these tests on that zone, and then the big wick up, wick down, back in reverse, and then now for a potential wick fill on this one. All right, guys, not live yet. I'll tell you if I go live or when I go live. All right, live order now, guys. Buy stop. Buy stop right there. Not triggered in yet. One moment. See if we can get a little higher. There it is, guys. And I am in. All right. First trade of the day. Coin has been tossed. Calling heads on this one. I'll get these markers all set up and I'll bring you back and we'll talk about this trade. And target 1 has been hit. So the 1 hour all or nothing trader was able to leave the game with full profitability. And of course the 2 hour move stop to break even at 1 hour has now moved their stop to break even because we hit 1 hour. And either the price will pull back and take them out at 0 break even, or they'll get a 2 hour, nothing in between. Of course the 1.5 hour and 2 hour all or nothing traders are still sitting here waiting to see what happens. You can see we're rejecting here at resistance. This, of course, is a trend continuation trade, guys. It is based off of a zone reversal, kind of a messy looking zone reversal, as you can tell. I like it when the bodies are printing on the actual zone like you see over here, for instance. Now this one has less impetus, of course, because it is in the Asian session and then going into Europe. These are much more important levels here, given the size of the market that comes into play on these, but you get the idea. But rejecting from there. But this is a trend continuation in that we've had the impulses up and then the pullback and then continuation higher. So the big impulse move here on the open and just before the open, of course, and then pull back and then continuing higher. Now what I waited here for was a break of structure. I could have actually gotten in earlier, but given how messy the 3 sisters have been this morning, I wanted to wait for the most certain confirmation pattern. That's over here. And so we have this break above, right? So failure to reach a new low, break above, could have entered here and would have worked out very well. Might have even been almost out of the trade by now, but that's okay. Sometimes you need to look for more certainty when things are quite sloppy. And so I waited for this orderly pullback. Look how nice and clean this is, right? Compared, and then a nice clean advance as well, and then a break above. I was also watching the 3 sisters on this entire move, and you can see that the Dow, of course, is the strongest of the 3, and why I took the Dow. The Dow did not fall as far. Not, you know what? When I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look like there's much in it, quite frankly, but certainly the first to get back above VWAP. And what I like to see is when we get above VWAP to pull back in an orderly way. This is that pullback I waited for right here, down to the EMAs, right? Positive moving average configuration, but remaining above volume weighted average price. The NASDAQ is still below, right? Be looking for a short in this, if anything. And the S&P did something similar here too, but in a sloppier way. I like this orderly pullback and remaining above the 2 EMAs. So there's no guarantees here. This could absolutely pull back, take us out at the original stop. We'll see, but at least the 1 hour trader has left the party with full profitability. I'll put you on pause and we'll come back. And target 2 has been hit. It's taken a while. This is a really grindy, messy morning here so far, all 3 of the indices. But the 1.5 hour all or nothing traders left the game with full profitability as well, of course. And so we're doing okay despite the messiness here this morning. I'll put you on pause and we'll come back and see how the final target turns out. Watching closely now, guys, coming back to the original break-even spot. So it looks like the 1 model will lose money on this one, which is the 2 hour all or nothing. And there it is, gets stopped out. But the other 3 models made money or broke even. And so that's not bad given how messy this is. I'm feeling pretty good about that. And here's what I want to say, guys. I will add this. I'm just watching this price action. And I've talked about this a couple of times in other videos, and it's about this. Now, when we're running this model, this is a mechanical model in terms of money management or RR management. In other words, you place your stop, and either you're going to get a 1, a 1.5, or a 2R, and you simply place your markers, and away you go. But there are certain times when and I believe for any trader, even if you're running a mechanical style model, to have some room for discretion in your rules. And here's what I'm talking about. In this case, as you know, I'm a zone trader, right? I'm a structure trader. And so when I've placed this trade, for instance, and this marker is now placed for 2R, and you'll see 2R over here, if you move over to the 30-minute chart, is actually into the next zone. It is next range. It's beyond the zone marker. Now, as you know, I'd typically be looking for a zone break opportunity here, which can eventually play out, or a zone reversal, which happens a lot of the time. Happened here, happened here, happened here, happened here when another zone formed, and so on and so forth. And so when you see that there's a zone marker here, when I see this, right, my entry here takes me to 2R, which is beyond the zone marker, I am more likely to, and I recommend that many traders consider this as an option, to take a 1.5% target, or 1.5R, target on this instead of 2R, right? And of course, if your risk amount is 1% for R, that would be 1.5%, of course, of account value, right? But that's neither here nor there. You can decide what your risk value is. And I do recommend 1 to 2% max, by the way, but that's the subject for another video. But just to let you know that this is the way I think about it, and I don't talk anymore about what I do on my own account. There are over 640 some odd videos of me showing you exactly the way I traded these various trades. Now I'm all about this mechanical style model to allow you to decide what you do. But I will tell you, kind of wink wink, I'd be taking profits here on this one, right? Which is right here. It's the wick fill from earlier on here, right there. And so I'll leave you with that, guys. Thanks for being with me here this morning. It is 11:38. We're into the twilight zone. Probably going to go for a workout now. And I'll see you this afternoon. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.